There's three men left in this tournament, but it seems like all the talk about AJ McKee and Pitbull. Do you feel like you're being overlooked?
Yeah, a little bit, but hate it or love it, the underdog's on top. So that's what I'm looking to go out and go do. They'll have that opportunity to see that, but only after I defeat both of them when this Grand Prix is over. But first things first and last things last is I'm taking this whole Grand Prix.
Yeah. Bellator Rankings came out this week. Obviously, Pitbull was number one in the division, but AJ was actually ranked above you. What's your thoughts on that?
I kind of figured. I knew that was going to happen. I'm fighting what I have ahead of me, the two best fighters in the world in this organization, because they have two accolades that I don't. One being a champ and who has a win over me and has been the greatest fighter in Bellator history, number one pound for pound. And then the other, longest win streak, undefeated, and look at what a star he's been in Bellator. So you can't write a better story of me going out, avenging these losses that I had. One, this man who had a win over me in 2018, and the other, I lost the opportunity to take that undefeated record for him in 2016. So a lot of people forget about that we were scheduled to fight many years ago. But now I know I'm on this platform. A lot more's on the line, and I'm grateful for it all.
Yeah, speaking of that, you mentioned that you fought Pitbull. It was a much closer fight than a lot of people remember. What adjustments do you think you have to make this time so that your hand gets raised?
Believing in my greatness. I believe that first time around it was just obviously showcasing skill, but toughness, heart, will, and I was waiting and just thinking just a little too much. Never hesitate. Go out there, trust in your instincts, and using my spider sense, being the Matrix Matador, and capitalizing on my openings. So when I know I can go out there and get the stoppage, make it happen. If not, do whatever it takes to get my hand raised. Continue to just keep the dog on the leash, or fight him on the inside, fight him on the outside, fight him at my pace, my range, my rhythm. And again, another one down, another one eliminated, and on to the final.
Matthew?
Hey, Emmanuel, this is Matthew Potterman from I'mMMannews.com. How you doing, brother?
Great, Matthew Potterman. How are you?
Hey, I'm doing well, man. You know, my first question is to you. How does it feel to be the first main event fight on Showtime?
I'm blessed. I'm grateful to God. It's go time. It's showtime. You can't write a better story at this. Everyone's been waiting so long for Bellator to get started this year. And yeah, first one of the year on the Holy Week on Good Friday, man. So it's going to be a great Friday because he has risen and here we are. I get to turn my dreams into reality.
You know, what's your biggest attribute as a fighter?
Having such a great supportive background with so many people in Rufus-Sport, Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and in Illinois, and throughout all over the world. But every fighter's got, their tribe and their people and their supporters, their lovers, their haters, criticizers, people who judge them, etc. But I'm just grateful for everybody who is not counting me out but counting me in, and knows that I can do this. And they inspire me and motivate me, and I inspire and motivate and encourage them too, I hope. But anyone who always helped believe you got to spread peace and love and Hakuna Matata, man, and believe it in your greatness. Then we're talking about a physical attribute and talking about a gas tank. So my energy levels just never stop. And that's how it'll always be. And you can't stop. And you can't stop, won't stop.
Max?
Hola, soy Max Morales de MMA Pit. Hola, Emmanuel, ¿cómo estás?
Todo bien, hermano.
mi pregunta es que esa última derrota que tienes es contra Patricio Pitbull, y eso fue hace un poquito más de 2 años, y 3 victorias después, y después de estos 2 años, es una revancha que tú tenías en mente y que estabas persiguiendo. ¿Y qué esperas de esta pelea?
Sí, claro, pues espero la victoria, primero gloria a Dios, pero pues estoy muy agradecido que tengo esta oportunidad en esta plataforma, en el Grand Prix, en este estilo, este torneo que tenemos, y pues estoy listo para vencerlo y al final.
Let me say it in English. So my question was, your last defeat was against Patricio Pitbull, and 2 years after that, and 3 victories later. So that was a fight, rematch that you were pursuing throughout these 2 years. And what are you expecting of this rematch?
Nothing but greatness. It's going to be a great fight. I know he's going to come hard. He's going to want to come and get it, but I know I've learned the bow and arrow's got to be pulled back really far before it can be shot forward. And I'm excited to show him and the world on what he's taught me, because he taught me a very valuable lesson. And praise God, we're coming out with the victory.
Thank you so much, Manuel.
Gracias usted, hermano.
All right, Nate.
Yes, sir. So your path to success in your career was full of hardship. Your Instagram Monday motivation post, which was awesome, by the way. You were sleeping outside the gym, in the Civic Coupe, in the Honda. You were a very motivational guy. I just want to know, how charged up are you to be back here for fight week with another shot at the title?
Very charged up, man. I can go back around that time, all those years ago. That's when I was watching Patricio Pitbull face Pat Curran in a rematch. And that's the still little humble blue-collar baller here trying to make his dreams come true, driving an hour plus to and from the gym every day, sleeping in his car, sleeping in the parking lot, sleeping in the gym floor. And now here we are. That's why I say it's me just turning my dreams into reality. All those third shifters out there, all those dishwashers out there, this one's for you, because that's where I've been at, and that's where I know I've been wanting to be, being on this platform and going out and turning my dreams into reality, knowing that one day all that hard work, all that sacrifice, all that suffering was going to pay off. Like Muhammad Ali said, suffer now and live the rest of your life as a champion. And that's exactly what I'm going to go out and go do.
Thank you, sir. Charged up, like I said. Good luck on Friday.
Of course.
Augusto.
Hey, Emmanuel, do you hear me?
Sí, claro.
Oh, it's excellent. Emmanuel, obviously you have already faced on 2018, and since then you're in a 3-fight winning streak facing tough competitors. So I want to ask you, what have you learned and improved during these 2.5 years, and what are we going to see on this Matador Sanchez that's different from the one of the first fight?
Definitely more of the Matrix Matador and using his spider sense here, trusting and believing in his greatness, never hesitating. And I've upped my strength. I've upped my cardio. Some people think like, wow, how can you get even better cardio? You can. So in every area outside of MMA as well, too, you have to stay sharp mentally, physically, emotionally, spiritually. As a fighter, it takes a lot to get in there on any level. And I'm looking forward to showing him and the world on what he's taught me and how much I've grown in every which way. And I'm a lot more wiser now because of that loss.
Damon Martin.
Emmanuel, kind of a two-part question. When you look back at that first fight with Pitbull, obviously it's several years ago, but kind of from your perspective, what's the biggest thing you learned about him in that fight, and what's the biggest thing you learned about yourself in that fight?
That I can take his best shots, that I can handle his pressure, his speed, his ferocity, his tenacity. And now I know that I can really overwhelm him with mine. And of course he's grown. Of course he's rewatched our fight and rewatched my old fights recently. And obviously it's like just two lions staring across a watering hole, knowing that we're going to cross paths again. I'm sure after this, after I defeat him, I know we will meet again. But first things first is going to go out and show what he taught me in 2018. And I'm a much wiser fighter because of that. I'm a much stronger fighter. And whatever doesn't kill you just makes you stronger and smarter. So I've had to learn from that. As painful as it was and as difficult it was, I was motivated by him. He went out to defeat Michael Chandler, and he became the champ, and he's been dominant and showed nothing but dominance ever since. So I'm excited. I'm fighting the best pound-for-pound fighter, the best champion Bellator's ever had, and I'm looking to go out and be on top.
Last one for me, when you look at Pitbull, since you fought him, he's obviously, as you mentioned, gone on to do some great things, the Chandler win, Juan Archuleta, the things he's done. But do you feel like he's that much different of a fighter than the guy you fought a few years ago?
Yes and no. I'll say yes, because of course he had to evolve and he had to obviously get bigger, get stronger, get more explosive, etc. Everything they needed to do, knowing that he was going to move a weight class up, and who knows what his plans were outside of that, and what if we had no idea prior to what was going to go on with this Grand Prix. But then when this Grand Prix got started, I feel like his level of opponents, all great fighters, but they didn't really force him to change his game too much in the sense that what I bring to the table. So as great of a fighter he is, and those other great fighters as well too, had the potential to beat him in maybe their ways and their thoughts and their game plans, but they just didn't have the style to beat him. And I know I have the style and the ferocity and the gas tank to get my hand raised over him.
Giancarlo?
Hi, Emmanuel. Hope you're doing well. Just one question for me. In terms of preparation for this fight, do you find it more challenging thinking, like, do you overthink things because of the last fight, or do you find it more calming knowing that you've already shared the cage with him?
I find it more calming because I've also been Cageside for his last 3 fights, getting that win over Michael Chandler, the win over Juan Archuleta, and recently the win over Pedro Carvalho. So I still see those holes and those gaps and those openings to where I know I can capitalize on and also need to watch out for so he doesn't leave my face a bloody mess. He taught me a very valuable lesson. And I know that me believing in my greatness and me growing and learning, watching him in each of those bouts, and me learning and growing from each of my bouts as well too, leading up to this moment, has what's propelled me and enabled me to evolve me to say that I can say what I'm saying right now. And I'm staying calm all the way through. I know what this man brings to the table. I know I'm fighting the best pound-for-pound fighter, the best Bellator champion in history. But I do also know that I can defeat him, and I have the potential to defeat him, and I will defeat him. And that's exactly what I'm looking to go out and go do, turning my dreams into reality and on to the final.
Santiago?
Hola, Emmanuel. Greetings from Amsterdam, and thank you for the time.
Greetings, my friend. Cheers.
There are some big weeks coming up for Rufus Sport with 3 massive fights in just over 4 weeks. Could you share how the vibes are at the gym and what makes this gym so special according to you?
Man, it's like the Bulls dynasty. That's how I feel. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96. We're just going out to kill the game, and every single one of us looking out to be world champions. And it starts with me. I'm excited to start the year off. We go in a few weeks a little after me. Then we got Sergio Pettis going in fighting for a world title. My other teammate, Anthony Pettis, his brother, is in a World Grand Prix tournament style. Other teammate, Emmanuel Sanchez, is in a World Grand Prix tournament style. And outside of them as well, too, I have my teammate Jordan Newman fighting on this card with me, like how we started years ago as well, too, when I had my first or second main event bout. And Rafian Stotts fighting the same card as Sergio Pettis on May 7th. So it's the winning season. We had our drought. We had our rough time. Our fights were canceled. The gym was closed down. Wisconsin was just going a ruckus. Everything was craziness, but we never lost hope. We never gave up. We stayed faithful. We stayed hungry, and now here we are. The whole team's ready to eat, and we're ready to leave a big legendary thing going on for the team and each of us as fighters as well too, for our careers and our lives.
That is beautiful. Last one for me, Emmanuel. Your cardio is absolutely spectacular. In your last fight against Daniel Weichel, you weren't even breathing heavy in the 5th round. Is that cardio coming from your Mexican roots? And how much would it mean to you, Emmanuel, if you could show the Mexican people that Bellator MMA belt?
I'd be the best ever, the first Mexican Bellator featherweight champion there's been. You cannot write a better story, especially going into someone who has a victory over him, being on this platform, on this format. I love it. It just makes it that much better and that much sweeter than it was years ago. And I'm so excited to go out and show what Patricio Pitbull has taught me and the wisdom and knowledge that I've gained from not only that fight, but also me wanting to stop Daniel Weichel. Didn't get the stoppage how I wanted, but I got to showcase a lot of other tools and weapons and, like you said, a nonstop gas tank. So, yeah, that comes straight from el corazón, pura raza mexicana. And through the Mexican power, just nonstop. Since I was a kid, I've always seen my parents work 3, 4, 5 jobs. It's a nonstop hustle, and that's all I've ever known. That's all I can do. I can't stop. I won't stop, and I can't be stopped, and I won't be stopped. So I'm just MMA's Energizer Bunny, man. I want to just keep going, and whatever it takes to get my hand raised, whatever it takes to get the stoppage, and to go out and be victorious. That's exactly what I'm going to go out and do this Friday night.
All right, we'll take a couple more here. Dana?
Hi, Emmanuel. You talked about the upcoming schedule for Rufus Sport fighters. You missed out the boxing match that your teammate Ben Askren is going to be having in a couple of weeks. How could you possibly forget?
Ben's doing his own Rocky style training. I don't know if you've been watching his videos out there, so I'm letting him be Rocky, going out there with his own Mickey and his own peeps out there. I haven't had the opportunity to spar with Ben or work with Ben that much, but our other coaches have. He's also been going to Freddie Roach's gym and other big gyms, and he's getting the work that he needs for himself to make this happen. But I'm excited, man. I can't wait for him to go out there and prove to the world that even him as an MMA fighter who wasn't that great or that dominant with his striking skill can still go out and shut up this big mouth over here who thinks he has striking skill over an MMA fighter.
Talk to me a bit about your faith. You mentioned before that you were sleeping in your car. You were really struggling on your way to get to this point, to be fighting for the World Championship. At any point, did your faith wane? Did you think, God, what are you doing here? Talk to me a bit about that and how you kept, how you maintained your faith through all of that.
That's a great question. I almost want to tear up now thinking about it, man, because it takes me back to those days where I do remember working 11 hours straight and then needing to go to the gym and just having a 5-shot Americano and just taking a quick 5-minute nap before I needed to drive to the gym and get ready for, the next fight, or just training, even without a fight on the line, just knowing that I couldn't miss out on training because I want to get to this level. I wanted to be where I'm at. No sacrifice, no victory. And throughout that whole time, I said, just God, please just give me strength. That's all I pray for. And I just pray that I don't fall asleep on the road and have a car accident or anything like that. And he is faithful. He is worthy. And I give all the glory and honor to God because he has kept me safe throughout this whole time. MMA is such a dangerous sport, but on top of that, needing to make the ability to make it happen through training, through trying to get sponsorships, through trying to get fights, through just keeping your health, through trying to balance your job on top of pursuing the dream of being a professional MMA fighter and being a world champion. I just never lost hope. I just never gave up, and I just prayed every single second that I had, with any little injury or going broke or sleeping in my car, sleeping on an air mattress, or whatever it was that I was going through. I just knew I was like, it's trying to teach me something. He is trying to teach me something, and no matter what, I know the risk, the pain, it will be worth it in the end. And I'm here on this platform now, being able to share that with you and everyone in this room and everyone in the world watching, that with God all things are possible, and just never give up. Believe in your greatness, and with God all things are possible, man. Just trust.
Steven?
How many shots of espresso in your Americano these days?
I gotta tone it down, man. This is why. This is for all the haters out there. People think Bellator fighters, oh man, everyone's out there all roided up. The only thing you'll find in me is Mexican steroids, beans and rice, and the only things I go overboard with is coffee and sugar. But I gotta limit that too, because unfortunately I have diabetes that runs in my family, and 2 drugs that I know for sure, caffeine and sugar, that I gotta watch out. But no, not too many shots. Just a plain dark roast with a little bit of raw sugar or some hazelnut, some good roast. Starbucks, man, it always just whatever, or Mexican style cafe that way. I don't hate. I'm excited to try all kinds of coffees. Fighting in Israel, the first time I lost to Patricio, they had some great coffee while I was out there too. And every now and then, I'll enjoy myself a Celsius or a nice energy drink, a Zevia energy drink. I hope Zevia gets this and hooks me up with the endorsement like they do Mighty Mouse or Nate Diaz. But I've been trying Zevia. They're the best. They're saviors from right there. Or green tea, ginseng and green tea. But I got to tone it down. I'm naturally energized right now. I don't know if you can tell. I'm cutting weight. I only have a few more pounds to go, but I still can just be nonstop right here and talk your ear off for days. But I'm ready to fight now, man. But I'm excited. But this morning, I did add 1 shot of espresso. Just to help the weight go down.
Okay. So I wanted to expand a little bit on something that you were talking about earlier about Askren. Can you remember a time, a specific time in which you were striking with him or working on striking, in which you kind of underestimated his abilities, or maybe he surprised you in some way or did something that maybe you wouldn't have expected him to do?
Oh, I never underestimated him. I never underestimated anybody ever, no matter who they're from. Or I have visitors and come from out of state, out of town, out of the country, who have come into my beautiful Rufus Sport MMA Academy. There was one time I had 5 different English accents: Australian, Irish, German, or not German, but New Zealand. I had so many different guys that were in there at the time. But the first time I remember sparring with Ben Askren, he threw a spinning back fist at me. And I was like, what the? I thought for sure, I'm like, okay, I'm just getting ready for Ben to try to, move around with me, but try to take me down. Because I'm way smaller than he is. But he threw a spinning back fist at me and was striking a little more than I expected. A lot of times you think you're going to go with someone who's predominantly a wrestler or just wants to grapple you. They're probably just going to try to walk at you or grab a hold of you to just lock horns with you and take you down. But, yeah, I was pretty surprised Ben Askren was throwing spinning back fists at me and other jumping kick attacks. And I wanted to show him that I didn't, he has my respect and he was my coach at the time, but I didn't care. I tried to take him down and he threw me on my head like I was a little kid. But that was all good. I went and showed that it was MMA training. And no matter what or who it is that I'm moving around with, over all these years, who I'm striking with, who I'm grappling with, MMA, jiu-jitsu, wrestling, whatever it may be, I'm always looking to obviously dominate and get, I don't want to say the better of the round, but you get what I'm saying. Like, show where my skill is at and learn and grow from that as well, too. And you have to, otherwise you're not going to get better.
Did you watch the press conference between them?
I did, and I think that guy's a punk. I think we should not make stupid people famous. I don't even know why he's considered famous. I don't know who he is unless other people have told me. But I think people have that title or that label of famous misconstrued. Someone famous to me would be like Dr. Martin Luther King, here Cesar Chavez, Rosa Parks. People have done great things. The great Muhammad Ali. People have done great things in many different aspects in their lives. And what do we have here? From what I know, just a YouTuber who's boxed a basketball player and another YouTuber. And it's cool. Don't get me wrong. You got funny videos on YouTube and you make money off of it, or Instagram too, or whatever. God bless you. If you can do that and make a lot of money or have a lot of notoriety and endorsements and all that, I'm happy for you. But I don't think that he is anyone to be idolized or praised, nor with Ben Askren, so I don't feel that way towards anyone. But Ben, I feel, should have a little more respect for what he's done and for who he's needed to face and what he's needed to go through in order to be in the position to where he is now, being able to not only get paid for this and being on this platform that he's on, but that guy just seems a little bit like a punk to me. And Ben is a true competitor and a true fighter. People are counting Ben out. I don't know why, but Ben's a true fighter. Whether it be boxing, wrestling, jiu-jitsu, grappling, if it's a spitting contest, whatever it would be, Ben would show up and show you what's up. So that's what a fighter does.
Last question here, Tony.
Emmanuel, hope you're well. You got to avenge a loss in your last fight. How much did you learn from going into that fight as a rematch that you're going to be bringing into this fight on Friday?
Obviously, his strengths, his speed, his stamina, his endurance, his everything, and my own. That was my first 5-round fight. That was my first international fight. A lot was riding and going into that. I had a lot of, I feel like maybe almost put too much pressure on myself being out there the first time flying that far across the world to be able to fight and fighting such a great champion and such a dominant fighter who's shown nothing but greatness throughout his Bellator career. And now I know, I believe in my greatness. I showed my potential. I showed what I could do, but now it's time to really fully unleash and let it all out in there to do whatever it takes to get the stoppage or 5 rounds of making sure that complete dominance, that I get my hand raised.